Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, Sodor Wooden Adventures, Episode 1, Thomas's First Day. While the Fat Controller had already bought 3 engines, Edward, Gordon and Henry, he knew that the 3 engines could not do all the work alone, plus they had to do extra jobs after their morning trains, and the Fat Controller realised this and that he had to buy some new engines to help out the 3 bigger engines with all the jobs that were required on the railway. So he called the 3 engines to the sheds to discuss this matter. Now, I know you 3 engines have been very busy over the last few months, and I'm very proud of you all. But I've decided to bring a new engine to the railway. "Oh, what's his name?" said Edward. "Oh, what does he look like, sir?" "Oh, what type of engine is he, sir?" "Well, I'll tell you. He's a blue little tank engine called Thomas, and he'll be arriving here tomorrow afternoon after you 3 engines have finished your jobs. So I want all of you to come to Brendam Docks to welcome here on the Sodor Railway." All the engines were excited. Later that afternoon, after the engines had finished their jobs, they all went to Brendam Docks to meet the new engine. Here is Thomas the Tank Engine. All the engines blew their whistles in excitement. "Welcome to Sodor, Thomas." "Thank you, sir." "Thomas, here is Edward." "Pleased to meet you, Edward." "It's a pleasure to finally meet you too, Thomas." "Now, Edward, I would like you to take Thomas to Teignmouth Yards and show him how we arrange the morning trains and passenger trains for the early morning trains tomorrow morning." The next day, Thomas met Edward at the yards where the passenger trains and morning goods trains were kept. "Here, Thomas, I'll show you how we arrange the morning trains. Now, Thomas, you have 4 sidings. On to your right is Gordon's express coaches, and in the middle 2 sidings you have Henry's goods train, and on the left is my morning passenger train. So today I'll help you make sure that everybody has their trains ready on time to leave." Soon the 2 engines had everybody's trains ready. Soon Henry, Gordon and Edward arrived to collect their trains, and off they went with their morning trains. Everything was going well until Thomas had to do the job by himself tomorrow morning. Soon Edward had finished his morning jobs and came back to Knapford Station to meet Thomas there. "Thomas, we did good work today. Now, do you remember all that you had to do make sure that our morning trains are ready and are given the correct trains? Of course, Edward. I'll show you that I can be the best station pilot on the line. You'll see. The next day arrived and Thomas puffed out of the shed to head to Timoth Yards. When Thomas arrived at Timoth Yards, he couldn't remember which train belonged to which engine, so he thought to himself, it wouldn't matter which if I gave Gordon the goods train and Edward the express and Henry Edward's coaches. I'm sure that's right. I think that's right, said Thomas as he went back to the sheds. But it wasn't right. It caused confusion and delay. As soon as the engines came to collect their trains, the guard in the office outside of Knapford Station told the three engines that they were pulling the wrong trains. Stop, he said. The three engines all stopped. You've all got the wrong trains, he said. What? Said the three engines. I said you've got the wrong trains. Gordon, you've got Edward's coaches. Edward, you've got Henry's goods train. And Henry, you've got Gordon's express. All the engines were very cross. They thought Thomas knew what trains that the engines had for their morning trains. And this made the passengers furious. And all came bang to the station master's office wanting refunds. The Fat Controller was soon notified, and the Fat Controller went to Timoth Sheds to tell Thomas the bad news. While Thomas was resting in the sheds waiting for the engines to come back from doing their morning trains, the Fat Controller walked up. Thomas? Yes, sir. What have you done? You have caused confusion and delay. The trains are now 10 minutes late. Edward has Henry's goods train. Henry's got Gordon's express. And Gordon's got Edward's coaches. And by the time this matter is sorted out, they'll be half an hour late. You better give everybody the right trains immediately. Off you go. Thomas soon puffed out of the shed and off he went to set the matter right. Thomas was embarrassed. He had let the Fat Controller, the passengers, and Edward, Henry and Gordon down, but he knew he had to fix what he'd done wrong. When Thomas arrived back at Knapford Station, Gordon and Henry started teasing him. Oh look, it's Thomas, the unreliable blue little tank engine. Thomas was very cross, but knew he had to set this big mistake right, so he could prove to the Fat Controller, Gordon, Henry, Edward, and the passengers that he was a really useful engine. Soon Thomas had everybody's trains ready on the right platform. Soon the three engines came and collected their trains, and then all three of them puffed out of the station. Thomas had learnt his lesson to make sure that the engines had their proper trains when they had to take their morning trains, and then knew whenever he had to pull the trains to the station for Gordon, Edward and Henry's morning trains, that he'll know next time that he'll make sure that all the engines arrive at their destinations on time.